All right. Did I go live in the right place? I hope I went live in the right place. Welcome to YouTube Backstage. So,
Hi.
if you've been making your YouTube videos for a while now, and each one is taking more time than the last, or the ones you make now were taking more time than the ones a couple months ago, that's what we're talking about today. And here's where it gets interesting. It's not usually because you're doing something wrong, it's because you've been doing something right. Like we start simple, right? Our phone, maybe a pair of earbuds, and you hit record, and then it was it, and that was great, and it was fast. And then video 3 rolls around, and you're like, my audio sounds a little hollow. I should probably grab a better microphone, or I want to add more processing. And then the background needs an upgrade, and then thumbnails, and then B-roll. Now, I want to point out, like, each one of these upgrades makes perfect sense in the moment, right? But there's this trap hiding inside all of those good decisions. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about exactly how that happens and an easy audit framework you can use to look at exactly what you're doing while we are here. Okay. So, all that being said, let's get into it. Hello and welcome to my co-host and business partner, Candy Harper, who
Hey,
gets
everybody.
lost in creative rabbit holes all the time when it comes
How
to production
dare
workflow.
you?
What's the
I
longest
feel
you've ever spent on a thumbnail?
attacked. That is not anyone's business. I like to keep my private life private. Thank you very much. Um, well, it does depend because this is and this might be some people who are watching right now too. I have one idea, develop that idea, and I go, "Mm, it's not as good as I kind. You know what's better?" And then I start with an entirely new jumping point. So the first idea inspires me to do something else. So I don't think that I'm spending in my logical brain. I'm not spending a lot of time on one thumbnail. I've actually created 4, okay? So
Exactly.
but that's what I
Exactly.
do in my brain. So,
Well, and you have luxury of doing that sometimes that not everybody has.
yes.
So,
Other times I set myself a timer because I
yeah.
know like I have 30 minutes to get down and dirty and grind something out. And so I'm not going to go over 30 minutes on this particular creative project. But I have had to learn to do that over years and years of experience of working in the media, working with all sorts of types of art forms. So,
So
meh.
let's get started with this. If you can estimate for people watching, how long, let us know in the chat right now, how long did your early videos take versus your more recent ones? Not your very first video, because obviously that probably took a long time, especially if you were learning editing or something like that, but early ones compared to now. And I know it can be hard to measure unless you're somebody who tracks all their time. Like I couldn't give you an accurate number, but I can guess. But let us know in the comments if you've been making videos, early ones versus how long it takes you now, and has it gotten longer or shorter? Because for a lot of us it gets longer, myself included. It's happening right now with these live streams. So this is our 6th episode of YouTube Backstage. And in the beginning, I don't think Candy has no idea how much time I've wasted on this. In the beginning, it was
Wasted?
like,
Wait. Wasted?
sorry,
You're using the word wasted. That's different.
invested in
Invested
this.
in this
Yes.
creative experiment.
But in the beginning, it's like, yep, we're going to go live. We'll have a couple of graphics. It's fine. And then I'm learning about YouTube and YouTube ads and how to have those in your live streams if you're going to incorporate them. And then I'm like, oh, we could have this extra graphic. Or should we have music? Did you know that we have sound effects?
Well, I know for my own personal life, I like to have sound effects. Oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
There you go. There's sound effects here.
Oh, thank you. Experience the sound effect. Oh, thank you, you guys.
That is like there's so many things that you can learn, that I can add, that I can do. You even made it notice, to my left here, a new agenda graphic about what we're going to be talking about today, that I felt like, oh, I got to add this today. That's new. So this happens, and I've had a lot of conversation with clients about this as well. And they just say, why isn't this taking less time? Can't start until, can't continue until, different things like that. And so let's check in here. No Time to Rock says, good morning, Jerry and Candy. Welcome. Glad to have you. Christian says, hi, Candy and Jerry. Great to be here watching from the UK. Good evening to you. Good morning, guys, says Marina. The thing with how long it can take longer is that as we learn, we want to improve and end up spending more time because now we know more cool tools. Exactly. And it is a trap for sure. Diana says, I probably spent about 8 hours on a video, now a couple of hours. All right, that's the right direction.
Okay.
Now the key is, can you stay there, or can it continue to get shorter. Because the problem we have here is it's a curse of knowledge. Like as things become easier, we feel like we have to level up. And sometimes the way that I look at this and is when you like if you're standing in your house and your house is messy, and first you're like, oh, let me get the clothes or the toys or whatever off the floor, right? And then as you're doing that, you're like, oh, the floor is kind of dirty. I got to sweep. And then as you're sweeping, you notice sticky stuff on the floor. And you're like, oh, now I got a map. And next thing you know, the baseboards are dirty. And next thing you know, you're wiping down the walls with a sponge on a random Tuesday and thinking about how the curtains need to be washed when all you started with was, I need to pick up the clothes. And you didn't notice the curtains or the walls at that moment. So I think this is how it happens for us. And I'm sure you've seen that in some of your own workflows, Candy, where it's just like level up, level up, level up, level up.
Yes, the cleaning analogy is lost on me. However,
No comment.
however, I also believe, and I think Diana was saying this, and some other people in the comments were saying this, the new cool stuff, and that's that shiny object syndrome, right?
Yeah.
That new cool stuff, the first thing we think is, ooh, I could use that for, but then
Yeah.
we don't take into consideration the learning curve on the new software or how to implement it in what we're already doing with our workflow that we've kind of honed in and like got it going into a groove. The flip side is the platform you're putting your content on may make some changes. And then all of a sudden, now you're learning something else. So you're adding more time each and every time. So when somebody was saying, like, oh, yeah, we learn more and we add more, it's also because we're thinking in our brain, this is going to save us time, or this is going to make my thing better, faster. And
Yeah.
then that's part of the adding.
And yeah, and some of it does. And we're going to talk about that a little bit in the anatomy of this trap that we fall into. And then also the best upgrades, because there are things that are worth investing in adding and upgrading. And there's some that I think we do just to procrastinate or make ourselves feel better. So, but let's
How
start off
dare
talking about
you?
the two traps. Hey, I'm calling myself out here. This is YouTube Backstage, right? This is the good and the bad. And so there's two ways we hurt ourselves. I heard about a woman who was like, yeah, I got to get going on YouTube. She's so like, she was an expert in her field, so good at everything, already had a thriving business, but she wanted to raise her authority, grow on YouTube. And so she invested to have a $10,000 studio build out. So rather than
Ooh.
just sitting in a room like this, she went and had, picked out paint colors and had somebody help design the set and hide the cables and, put in all of the gear and everything like that. And even after that, she still couldn't bring herself to make the videos. So she had some other mindset stuff there. But I think there's a lesser version of that a lot of us fall into where, that perfectionism where it's like, we won't start until we've got the right setup. Okay. So that's one way that we can hurt ourselves. The other one is the gradual creeper. And this is where you do start simple, right? You're like, okay, yep, I'm going to film on my phone. I'm going to use the window for light. I've got my Apple headset that came with my iPhone. I'm going to use that as the microphone and off we go. And then 3 months in, you've added all of this stuff. So which one are you? Let us know in the chat. Are you the perfectionist or are you the gradual creeper? I don't love that
Oh,
name. It's not
please
very flattering.
identify as the gradual creeper because that's the next title of my true crime podcast. It's the gradual creeper. And then
Yeah.
eventually I find out he's
I
a serial killing truck driver from New Orleans or whatever.
I definitely started as the perfectionist. I was like, "Oh, I got to have this, and I got to have this, and I got to have this," and then I realized it wasn't realistic. But then over time, I became the gradual creeper, and that was fully it. I'm
Please
sticking
say
with the
that
phrase.
more. I mean, I need a t-shirt at this point. I also do think it depends on where your creative joy lies. Like if your creative joy is fonts, hook me up with a font nerd anytime and we will chat fonts. If
Yes, you
if
will.
your gradual if your joy is color schemes, yeah, let's do color palettes for an hour. And then it could be effects or transitions or whatever it is that you're doing from any creative project. That's the one you're likely to go down a rabbit hole on. And I think
Yeah,
that's where you find that creep too. Like, ooh, I
yeah.
like this. Ooh, this is fun. Ooh, look at this. Look what I did. This is cool.
Mike says I haven't been consistent enough to really measure. Probably getting a little longer. Christian said,
Mhm.
"Same here. My consistency's been a challenge over the last 2 months." Diana says, "I can so relate, Candy." Let's see.
I
Strategic
think that was
marketing.
about the cleaning thing.
Okay. The
Yeah.
not cleaning, as you said.
The not cleaning. No, it's not cleaning. It's just not worrying about the cleaning to the point where I need to do baseboards.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. Strategic Marketing Tribe says AI is one of those things that sometimes costs you time when you're trying to use it to save time. For sure. AI can be a huge
Mhm.
trap. Marina says, I think I'm a gradual creeper. Thank you for using the phrase, even though Candy said it was too creepy. Dan says, perfectionist. Strategic Marketing Tribe says, LOL, I'm the gradual creeper for sure. Christian says, started thinking I needed more than I did, so I procrastinated. Then I realized I just needed to get started. Now I'm the gradual creeper.
Mhm.
Yeah, totally, totally fair with that. So, which one would you say you are when you start a new project, Candy? Like if you were starting a YouTube channel this month.
Um, I tend to be when I'm learning something brand new, I will tend to be a gradual creeper because I feel as if I don't have enough information to put myself out there in the best possible way. So the education side of it makes me a gradual creeper. Oh,
Mhm.
well, then I have to figure out how to do this. Well, then if this isn't right, then I have to do this. Oh, well, what's my competitor doing? Oh, so I'm supposed to do this too. Now I got to learn how to do that too. So the
Yeah.
education side of it, the prep side of it makes me a gradual creeper. When I get into the creative side of it, it's what I really enjoy creatively. Those specific tasks get me to a gradual creeper mode. I think it's a mode for me. It's not all the time because, oh, yeah, you want me to write up a bunch of SOPs? Not that's not happening. That's not my jam. But
I
you want me to design 50 thumbnails, do a couple YouTube banners, write some script, let's go, you know?
yeah. They actually Claude just announced something this week where you can talk to it and record your screen and it'll write your SOPs for you. Actually, it'll save it as a skill. So maybe the
Mm.
writing of SOPs is over or in the
Ooh,
near future. Yeah.
ooh, don't tell
Very
our
exciting.
process, people. Don't tell the process, people.
Well, no, SOPs still exist. The writing of the SOPs may be coming to an end.
Yeah, but,
That's all.
there's always people who really enjoy that process of their business. They love writing the SOPs,
Yeah.
you know? I
One
ugh.
the bizarre thing about this is first of all, I'm sure the word gradual creeper, that phrase has never been said more in a live stream than today. So
I
congratulations
love
to
it
us
very much.
on
I
our
mean, we
world
might get
record.
flagged. We might get somebody may be like, "What type of content is this?"
Yeah. But the interesting thing about this is whether you're a perfectionist or you're a gradual creeper, you kind of start in different places, but you both end up in the same way. Like the perfectionist, if you're a perfectionist like I was, you create a workload too complex from the beginning and you burn out before you succeed. If you're the gradual creeper, you build to a workload too complex and then you burn out before you succeed. So they're both kind of
That's
the
a good
same
point.
thing. No Time to Rock says, started out as perfection, took 3 years to actually start, then morphed into the gradual creeper, sometimes spending 25 to 30, you didn't say, I assume, hours a week researching, shooting, and editing video. So,
Video? A single
yeah,
video? A video?
it can be done. It can be done. Diana is asking, how are you defining gradual creeper? I'll let you go first, Candy, and then I will give my definition.
First of all, it sounds like something from Minecraft that we have not fully experienced. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but I would say a gradual creeper is somebody who knows what the end result should be and instead tries to perfect it in the individual task. So if you know the end result should be my video should have 4 or 5 graphics. Now all of a sudden I'm building a crawl on the bottom. We have to have name tags on the top. We got to have comments pop up in the thing. I'm sorry, are you feeling targeted? Are you feeling seen right now?
A little bit. I'm
But
feeling
that's what
seen.
I'm saying. Like you're now building a package rather than the what thank you. There's my name. Thank you. I was waiting for it. Like what happened
Yeah.
to it?
I don't know why it
But
went away.
that's what I'm saying is that what you really needed was the one crawl at the bottom and maybe the names. But now we've added flair. So the gradual creeper to me is flair.
Okay, that's an interesting way to look at it. And it's actually, let's break down exactly what that is because it is going to be what we talk about basically the anatomy of this trap that we fall into. So, for the gradual creeper, this is not the perfectionist pass because that's where you just try and get everything perfect before you start, which is often a form of procrastination. But, the gradual creeper starts off with, like I said, phone and then like earbuds, and that's it, right? And they record their first video. It's a 5-minute video, takes them, 15 minutes to get through it, and then maybe 30 minutes to edit, right? So you've done your video in 45 minutes. Then by video 5, you're like, I want to level up. I'm watching these other videos and I feel like I should do more. So then you add more production. Maybe you add some B-roll footage in your videos of clips of other things. Maybe you add music or something like that. All of a sudden you've added another 30 to 40 minutes of editing, especially if you're an overthinker and you're like, oh, well, this clip could be good, or this clip could be good, or this music's too loud. And the tricky thing with this stage is you felt like that video was better. So then you felt like the next one had to be the same. Like as soon as you level up, you don't feel like, oh, I'll just pretend that didn't happen and go back to lesser production than the last ones. You feel like you have to stick with it. Then you get to like video 10. And this is one I see a lot with people in our community. You have a problem with your main editing software and you heard about a cool new one, maybe with an AI feature. So you started learning that one. And you've basically started over at that point, right? You're repeating the cycle. And then just quick tangent here. All software is flawed. I see it all the time where somebody's like, oh, well, this is no good, so I'm switching to this, and this failed me, so now I'm going to use this forever. And they just keep going round and round and round, and eventually you run out of decent options. So software is flawed. That's just the world we live in. But then video 15, you decided, oh, you know what? I need not just B-roll footage, stock B-roll footage. I'm going to film my own B-roll. So here's a video of me working at the desk or whatever, which again looks cool, better than generic B-roll. But again, now you've added 30 minutes filming and adding that each week. Video 20, you decided you needed 3 thumbnails instead of 1, and that's another 45 minutes. So the tricky thing with this is every one of those decisions is theoretically a good idea, right? I'm going to upgrade my stuff. I'm going to make better videos. And there's actually a psychological term for this called the hedonic treadmill. I'm not sure which pronunciation is right, but
Like hedonism?
basically it's tied into hedonism. It's like, okay, cool,
Yeah.
this is my new normal.
More.
Normally that phrase is used for like you all of a sudden you make more money and you're like, wow, I'm making more money. This is amazing. And then you get used to it and it's not more money anymore. That just becomes the new standard. So you add a ring light and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then it feels normal and boring again. That's exactly what's been happening with these live streams. That's why now all of a sudden, it's like, oh, let me add this. And now we have the crawl and, all of these things. And so it just keeps moving. And so what you have to ask as you're going through this pattern is each thing that I added earning its time in business results, or is it just making me feel better in that moment? So we'll talk about how to fix it in a second here. But Candy, what are your thoughts around that?
I think when you had mentioned about software, there's always another software or platform or something trying to add more to get you to spend time there and spend money there. That's their whole goal anyway. You can't be everything to everyone. So even if it's like, where you're using your email or what you're using for creating graphics or what you're using for B-roll, for video, for editing, they're constantly adding new features to get you to say, this is my software of choice. You don't have to use all the new stuff. I think that is the other thing that you kind of can put your own guardrails on what you already have. Just because they're offering something new doesn't mean you have to implement it right away. You don't have to be an early adopter. You don't.
What?
You don't.
Yes,
Sorry,
I do.
Jerry. You literally don't. But
yes, I do.
I think what we do as humans, and I do it too, is that's a form of entertainment.
Yeah.
So either you're watching Murder 101 or you're playing in Canva for an extra 20 to 30 minutes. You're maybe you would be taking a walk, but you cut your walk short because now you're doing video transitions or you're playing with something else. So it's a form of entertainment when you're not implementing it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the creeper part of the new stuff that you have, or even the old stuff you're already using. And AI is really good at helping you be a creeper. Because remember, at the end of any AI suggestion, and you're just kind of looking for a suggestion, you're looking for a little help, and it's like, by the way, Candy, you know what you should also do? And it like suggests something else, because that's the whole point of all the platforms. They're trying to keep your eyeballs on it and keep you using their one thing.
AI is the worst because of what you described, but also because everyone's, trying to upgrade, right? ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. And so I have friends that are like, okay, this week Claude's image generator is the best, so I'm making my thumbnails with that. And this week ChatGPT's image generator is the best, so I'm making my thumbnails with that. And it's like, okay, well, so it was worth learning a new one every week or switching your workflow, whatever it might be. If the other one is just as good as it was last week, then it's okay. If this new one's 5% better, that's not necessarily worth a whole shift. And that is where you do lose so much time. So if we look at basically what we want to look at is, how do we fix this? So basically for every element of your current workflow, you can ask 3 questions. Okay. One, how much time does this honestly add? And I think you have to factor in the amount of time it takes to learn it as well. So if
Yeah,
all
but
of a
how does
sudden,
somebody know?
uh, estimate high. How about that?
Always estimate high. It's
Well,
like when I'm trying to get my 16-year-old out of the shower and I know that he has to be at work at 9 o'clock, and I say, oh, it's actually 8:30 because I know it's going to take him longer to get out of the shower, get out of the
sure.
bathroom, get out the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if we
We're
went back to our
estimating
thumbnail
high.
example, yeah, if we went back to our thumbnail example, it's like, okay, yeah, now this other tool's better for thumbnails. Well, now you got to use that tool. Or, oh my God, I always say the best editing tool is the one you already know. Like
Mhm.
changing editing tools is a huge thing. So always stick with what you know, unless it just is no longer serving you. But then you have to factor in, okay, this is going to actually take quite a bit more time. If you were going to go from 1 thumbnail to 3 thumbnails, let's say that you were making every week, you could
So we could
easily
test them.
say, yeah, you could easily say, it's gonna take 3 times as long. Realistically, well, depending on how many changes you're making, it might take more than 3 times as long, right? Because now you're figuring out not just different ideas, but how to differentiate.
And for everybody, when we're bringing up when Potter's bringing up thumbnails over and over and over again, usually the reason why he's doing that is because that is one of the things that I really enjoy doing, because I create Jerry's very normal thumbnail that he wants, and then I make my weird ones. And so we go back and forth on where will the weird one, and I just call it the weird one because they're usually just a little off. Will the weird one work better than the best practices version? And
Yeah.
that's us experimenting and strategizing. But I know if I'm going to make a weird one, that's going to take me more time.
Yeah. Well, and that's also the one that I know that, yeah. Marina says, last night I wanted to accomplish 1 video, sweeping, to go back to our cleaning analogy. I ended
Mm-hmm.
up spending 5 hours scraping sticky floors and dusting, mopping. LOL. That's how it felt. Yeah. There you go. No
Yeah.
Time to Rock says, I spend more time admiring my Premiere Pro plugins than I spend actually using them.
Oh, that was me in Adobe. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna download this. I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use this. Did
You
I
mean in
ever
Photoshop?
use? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Photoshop across the
Yeah.
board, and also like video transitions, effects, filters, a lot of fonts. Like a lot of like I have a lot of fonts,
All the
and
fonts.
but when you're talking about YouTube and you're talking about a specific platform, not all the fonts work. They just don't work. They don't show up well. They don't translate well for people seeing it fast and small. So, do I need all the special cutesy fonts? No,
No. But
but I
you
got them
enjoy it.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first question, well, how much time does this actually add? Honest and estimate high. Second, what does it change for the viewer or the business? So sometimes we like to add things that make us feel better, or we feel like we have to do that. I can't tell you how many times this year a business owner has said to me like, well, I have to have B-roll footage in my videos so they look professional. And then I'll
Mm.
show them a few videos with hundreds of thousands of views with no B-roll from a business. And it's like, oh, okay. So sometimes we feel like we need to do things. So ask, what does this actually change for the viewer or the business? Now, testing 3 thumbnails, if you've got the capacity and your videos are getting recommended enough, could pay off in a huge way if you started getting way more clicks on those videos, for example. So when it comes to editing, ask yourself, is this truly making somebody understand the material better or watch longer, for example? And then the third question is, would anyone notice if you stopped doing it? And this is the one where, our ego can sometimes take a kick in the teeth. Like, let's say that, here, I'll turn it off right now. Let's say I turned off the crawl, right? The crawl's not there this week. Do you think anyone who comes and watches this show or watches the replay is going to be like,
What is this B grade type of nonsense?
where was the crawl? Nothing was moving except you guys, right? No, nobody's going to notice. In
Did
fact,
you guys even prepare for this? Would you just show up and like at your campsite and start net?
I think the 3rd week we did this show, I forgot to update the text in the crawl. So it wasn't even accurate. And guess what? Nobody noticed. So the crawl is there for me. The crawl is there because I nerded out about it. And so we have to be realistic with ourselves that probably nobody would notice if it was gone. There's 3 messages in the crawl right now. They're all generic. I don't have to update the crawl anymore. So again, how much time does it actually add? What does it change for the viewer or the business? Is something impactful? And then would anyone notice if you removed it? And then that kind of takes us to a good rule, which is only upgrade if it's solving a real viewer problem or a real results based problem. Like if your
I
audio is
love that.
bad, then yeah, upgrade. If you're not recording because you have you started with that, like I have this $15 microphone that I recommend because it's this plug-in mic and it's a, clips on, it has a 20-foot cord. But every time you do that, it's just such a hassle and you upgrade to a mic that's there all the time, and all of a sudden you make more videos, well then yeah, that was great. That's valid. But if it's, my background feels amateur to me, that's when you get into that production creep. That's when you become that gradual creeper. So I think that's the biggest thing.
So one phrase that I normally will, well, I'll definitely say it to the teenagers, is something along the lines of, "Oh, that sounds like a non-problem problem." Because if
Say that
it's
again. A what problem?
that sounds like a non-problem problem.
Non-problem problem. Got it.
Like it's not a real problem, but in your mind you think it's a problem. Like, "Oh, we don't have our names above our heads, so we obviously need those graphics." Well, no. We don't need them. We wanted them. Look, Potter's even matches his shirt. Like that's nonsense. You don't even here, I got it. You don't even need to have it match your shirt, but he does.
Let's
You
not
know?
act like I'm changing the graphic every week to match my shirt. Oh, now I
No,
think though.
he
Let me
just
write that
likes that
down. That's a great
write
idea,
it down.
Candy. Thank you.
That sounds like a non-problem problem.
That is some gradual creep. That is the ultimate example of gradual creep right there.
Right. Like it's
Um,
cool in your own mind. So you're like, "Oh, that's cool. I'm going to do that." But
Yeah.
like it's for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely have
It's
to
like
do
a
that now.
1-year-old birthday party. It's for you. It's not for the 1-year-old.
That's a great analogy. So we'd love to know in the chat right now, what have you added since you started and was it worth it? Could be something new you started adding to your videos, the way you edit them, a tool changed, light, sound, camera, what did you upgrade and was it worth it? Because we're going to talk about what the best upgrades are here in just a second. And would just kind of love to know, like, what have you upgraded from the beginning, if anything? I can tell you for me, I have upgraded a lot because I started with my phone and that $15 microphone and a window for light. Now I have a microphone that's in place. I have a camera that's in place. I've upgraded my software because the software I use now, Descript, didn't exist when I started. I wish it did.
You have a teleprompter.
I do have a teleprompter. I don't really use it for my YouTube videos. I do use it to have
Yeah.
the agenda for the live streams. I use it to keep eye contact on Zoom calls. But and I think those things have all been worth it. And I'll tell you why in a second when we talk about the best upgrades that you can make, because some of them are worth it and some of them are not. And there's a real easy way to look at it. Outside of that, I've played with adding music to my videos in some of them, and I don't know if that helps or not because I'm not consistent enough to go, wow, since I added music, my retention went up. I outsourced and hired an editor, a full-time editor at one point. That turned out not to be worth it, which is why, I still don't have one. And I'm back to editing my own stuff. So it's always an experiment, without question.
Speaking on, I do think, I know we're going to talk about how to fix the creep and one thing, like kind of your own sort of guardrails.
Mhm.
I mean, I really hate it when people, I don't want to say that now. Oh, well, I hate it.
You don't want
I
to
hate
put it out there?
Well, I hate it when people give the advice that just stick to the basics because it's not unhelpful, but it's like so vague, it's not helpful. Does that make sense? Like if you stick to the basics and it's, can I see you? Can I hear you? How are you delivering it? And it's clear, that's going to resonate if it's good content. So
Yeah.
it's like those are the basics, but it's like you can't really just be vague about it and say stick to the basics because with everything we have access to now and how cheap how cheap some of it relatively is, the basics have leveled up.
Yeah. Well, so now when I say stick to the basics in a second, I'll give specific examples now that you've called called that
Well,
out.
because it's like it's not unhelpful, but it's kind of like It's like
Yeah.
the people who say, "Just start. Just
Yeah.
just do it." You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Uh, Diana says, but changing colors on the name text is pretty cool. See, now I have to do it,
See?
Diana.
No,
Now that we've had
Diana,
that,
see, this is the gradual creeper sticking out. You're like, "Yeah,
and
but it's kind of fun. You can do it though, right?"
Dan's
Yeah.
got a suggestion for you, Candy. You could change the fonts on the live
See?
stream every single
No.
week.
No. No, no, no. No. I can. I can. Am I going to? No. I'm not going to.
Good, good, because
I
you don't want to be a
might. I
gradual
might
creeper.
do it in secret and just see if anybody notices for funsies.
I bought lights so I can now film at night instead of only when the light is good. Definitely worth it. That was definitely one for me when I
That's a
got
good
to the
one.
point, yeah, where I didn't have to like wait for basically an overcast day and I could just film anytime. That was a huge game changer because it was like, okay, here's this sweet spot on an overcast day. I can get this block of time to film. And that
Well, so
totally makes
strategic
sense.
marketing tribe, what she's talking about though, and I assume it's a she because that's her profile photo, is that, oh my God, I'm sorry, there's a hummingbird right here.
It's not going to attack you.
No, I know, but it's like sitting on my ring light. I don't want to hurt. Okay, it's gone.
It's on your
Sorry.
ring light.
Yeah, it's gone. Sorry.
Okay.
Hummingbird attack. But what she was saying was very specific to her schedule and getting the product out. She could record at night now.
Yeah.
So she was adding that flexibility. So I totally agree. Something like that, lights to where it's all even now. You're recording the same. The setup is the same. That's helping her get her video out instead
Yeah.
of saying, "Oh, I can only record between the window of 10 and 2." So that I think would be a great fix for people to look at their own schedule and see what really would fit into there.
So I think that the best upgrades, there are some upgrades that add time to your workflow and never go away. And there are some upgrades that instantly improve things without taking any more of your time. And
Mhm.
so those clearly fall into two different categories. And when you're ready, the ones that don't take any more of your time, like it's a one-time thing, that's a like that's generally, again, assuming it's going to have an impact, a meaningful impact, not just, oh, that makes me feel cooler or more professional. I think those are always great. So for examples like upgrades that add time that never go away, deciding your videos need music or more graphics, like it's hard to strip those things away once you add them. And even if you get faster at adding them, it's always going to take time. So you have to really consider, is this worth it? Meanwhile, as strategic marketing tribe just mentioned, just lighting that you don't have to set up or don't have to wait for windows. That's incredible. I say lighting that you don't have to set up because I first got lights and I still had to set them up every week, and it was this huge production, and I had tape on the floor and all this kind of stuff. Now, in my home office, I just tell Alexa to turn on the lights, and and on they go. Apologies if anyone has a speaker around. And so, yeah, when you can do that, that's great. A microphone that's always in front of you that you don't have to connect. I brought this microphone on this trip, even though it's got an arm and it's kind of this big obnoxious thing. It fit in my suitcase, and I didn't want to deal with having a clip-on microphone the whole time. Outsourcing, if you can outsource some of your stuff, that's another thing that doesn't take more of your time once you make the hire, and that can be worth it.
I was going to say, when you're talking about the best upgrades for you personally, we had just mentioned somebody with their schedule, so they got lights so they can film at night. I would
Yeah.
also say for women it might be a little different than men. One of the examples is the clip-on microphone. Yeah, the lavaliers are great. However, this, like, look at how much hair this is. What is this doing? It's constantly rubbing into a microphone. So if you listen back to your videos and you hear vroom, 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 over and over again, it's because this hair is rubbing in it. So that is when the table mic setup or the mic on a little stand, that would work better for you. And you would realize, oh, for me personally, that's the best fix that I could do. Same thing with like the lights so you could record at night. So do take some of that in consideration too, about really what is sucking up your time on the editing end before you start thinking about ways to fix it.
Yeah, moving from your living room to a room that you can always film in,
Yeah.
which is another thing that I did, is a one-time upgrade that obviously paid off because I didn't have to wait for everybody to leave the house for a few hours and try and batch record everything. So another thing when we're thinking about the best upgrades, this is something that I coach my clients on, and that is decide how you're going to edit your videos once and then just do it, and don't change it for like at least 10 videos. So what I mean by that is you just go through and you say, okay, first I'm going to remove all the silence, right? Where I pause to think. Then I'm going to remove all the mistakes. Those are the basics. You can stop there. Like if you're just getting started, just do that and be done. If your content is valuable enough, that video can perform well without any graphics or transitions or anything else, and just do that. But if you want to add more, then you might say, I'm going to add music, but I'm only going to add one track that plays at 8% through the whole video, as opposed to I have to have all these different, music tracks. Or I'm going to add B-roll, but only one clip every 60 seconds, and I can't spend more than 30 seconds choosing a clip, for example. So those are the types of things that once you write it down, almost like you're writing it down for somebody else, if you force yourself to stick to it, now you've got a cap on what you can do, and you can look forward to it. Like, cool, in my 11th video after this, I get to do the next round of things. And then the last thing with this is give yourself a time limit. So Candy mentioned this sometimes with thumbnails and other projects. If you sit down and you go, all right, I've got 45 minutes to edit, that means that if you hold yourself to that, that means if all of a sudden you're like, I think I want to add B-roll, and it's already taking you 45 minutes, it's like, okay, well, what are you going to stop doing? You're going to stop doing music or stop doing graphics or whatever it might be. And it really forces you to kind of prioritize. You have to either get rid of something or you have to get faster at it before you can add anything new. And that makes a big, big difference.
I do like the idea of you have a 10 video guardrail. I think guardrail is my new word of the year, by the way. So let me know if I'm overusing it, and I'll pretend like I care. But
it's a very popular,
it's a very popular word right now for me. Sorry, because of AI. And AI is giving you more projects to use. And then AI, you can also do this, and you can also add this. You can also add this. You know, it would be good. Yeah, it would be good. But that's not what I was trying to accomplish and finish. You're just creating more layers to my task. So I think if you can establish your own guardrails, my setup is going to be this, my lighting's going to be this, my B-roll is going to be this, and my transitions are going to be this. I'm not going to generate 7 thumbnails. I'm going to generate 3, and it's going to be these exact thumbnails before I go in to actually create the thumbnails. I'm putting my own guardrails on the process of it. I'm not putting the guardrails on the creativity.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. If you got questions about this, drop them in the comments now so we can answer them today. Dan is calling you a font quitter because you're unwilling to change the fonts.
Doing it, Dan. I'm quitting. Week. I am quitting right now. I'm not going to do it. And that is an absolute lie. So you'll recognize it. I really do like fonts.
Marina says, that's the hardest part, waiting for family members to leave to feel free to be you and just do your thing. I thought it was just me. Thank you, Jerry. Yeah, when I first started, we had 2 young kids and my filming space was the living room and we had an open floor plan. And so that was the only option that I really had. And I was using a window for light. I didn't have any lights or anything like that. And so I think when our kids were young, obviously they were a lot more work. And I even felt guilty saying, Candy, could you just take them out of the house for a few hours? And we didn't have like a built-in thing that they went to, like for example, on a Saturday, because I was still working full time. And so I would do it about once a quarter, about once every 3 months. I say, hey, can you just take them somewhere for like 4 hours? I don't know where. And I would film like 12 to 15 videos at once because that was the easiest option. Once I set everything up, got my wired microphone in place, and that was it. So I think in the beginning you do what you got to do, but once you realize, oh my God, these videos are an important part of my business, that's where you level up and you go, oh, never mind, I can make time for this during my week, or I can invest in some gear or something like that. So, but yeah, that was the beginning for sure. Catherine says, interesting, you recommend you do your edits in the same order each time. I've been doing that all along without even thinking about it. Yeah, well, and it's not even just about doing it in the same order, which yes, I absolutely do that, but it's about just doing the same thing every week instead of going, oh, cool new thing I could add, or I saw another person's video that had this, I want that, or they announced a new feature in my software, which, if you're a tech geek like me, that is a dangerous place to be for sure.
One thing based on Catherine's comment there. Thank you, Catherine. I think she's watching on Facebook. It really is. If you say, oh, I'm not a technical person. I hear people label themselves a lot. I'm not a technical person, but I can edit my video. If you've decided and your mindset is, I'm not a technical person, putting your own rules in place of how you're going to edit before you get in there to edit is going to save you a ton of time, and it's going to save you a little bit of that uncertainty before you even start.
Yeah.
I'm only doing this. I'm not going to learn more to do this. I'm not going to change more to do this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm only going to do this. And you're going to get better at it. You're going to get faster at it if you use the suggestion. I really like that 10 videos. Like, do not change your stuff around and do not upgrade anything until you've put out 10 videos, because that helps with your consistency. And that really is a problem for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. My big win this week is learning that Descript Underlord, I think you mean, is can do some things I was struggling with manually. It saved me hours because those additional tasks take me forever. Yeah. If you have
Oh,
heard of Descript or
mhm.
used Descript, Underlord is basically like ChatGPT built in there. And I use it all the time for troubleshooting. Like, this isn't working, or how do I do this? And it'll do it for you. I do think we are getting, I want to do a workshop on this, but I do think we are getting to a point possibly this year in 2026 where even somebody who says I'm not very technical is going to be able to use AI to edit like 95% of their video, at least, if not all of it, which I'm
Well,
very
we should
excited
be,
for.
if not, yeah, if not sooner, because AI overall is the great equalizer. Um, and
Yeah.
it really is your content that is going to make you win.
Yes, exactly. And Candy, how much time makes sense to create a thumbnail? I know that's subjective, but would love to have an idea.
Okay, so I will say, this is Diana. Thank you for watching, Diana. I will say the prep work on thumbnails will save you a lot of time. Having your photos of you and your headshots and the photos that you like, and in a generic like type of shirt, because usually thumbnails are like waist up, having those ready to go will save you a lot of time on the front end, and not a lot of people have that. So if you do have those photos of you ready to go, that saves a lot of time. If you have already picked the fonts that you are going to be using on your YouTube thumbnails, meaning there's only 5 or 6 of them that show up at such a small like viewpoint for the actual thumbnail, and most thumbnails are seen very, very teeny tiny, that saves you a lot of time. Because now what are we doing? We're not getting cute with it when we actually go into create. If you have the specific colors or brand colors or something that you want to use, and you already kind of know that, that saves you a lot of time. So that prep work, the pre-production work on a thumbnail, that saves you a chunk of time. So if you have those things in place, like we have those in place for us, I would say for me personally, it's 10 to 15 minutes and then I'm out.
Um,
Um,
I, I would say honestly, if that's a friction point for you, 5 minutes, maybe
yeah,
10, if you want. I
yeah.
mean, they are important, but they can't be the reason that you don't get videos published. Because here, I'm going to just show something really quick. So I just went to my channel. These are my oldest videos from the very beginning. And this is what my thumbnails looked like in the beginning. I think I was actually taking just a quick photo.
I
Um,
think
but
you were at
but
the,
then,
yeah.
yeah. But once I got some branding photos here, let me go down a little bit. They pretty much all looked like this. I had a template in Canva. I would go in, I would change the text and sometimes change the picture. You can see here, this is where I got started using my professional photos. I would just drag one in and publish it. And this was it. And I would probably take 5 minutes on it. Now, back then, now, we learned like it's a waste to put the title and the same thing on the title and the thumbnail. Back then, that
Mhm.
wasn't really common knowledge yet. So you can see best sizes for Instagram and then same thing on the thumbnail. But, this was a 5-minute process, if that. So I just say that so to encourage you not to go down a rabbit hole that you don't have time for. If you got time for it, like next month, our kids will be back in school and Candy will have lots more rabbit hole time. I will have more rabbit hole time, right? And that's when I'll make sure to match the graphics to my shirt every week. And I'll make sure that when I send out the announcement email, everybody knows what I'll be wearing because obviously that's really
Yeah.
important.
But the question is, am I spending rabbit hole time on cutesy graphics or a better title or whatever when I should be spending that time on the content?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I
Although,
think that's the big question. If the content isn't performing,
yeah. But title, thumbnail, and script outline, this is why this is what we focus on in our Growth Lab
yeah.
program. They're very important. So just kind of keep that in mind as you are doing this. So, all right. If you found this helpful today, would you mind giving this video a like? And we decided we're both going to be traveling next week, and we decided not to do a live stream next week, but we
Mhm.
will be back the Thursday after that. And so that is where we'll be back. noon on Thursday, noon Eastern time, and we'll announce what our next topic is again. If you have something that you would love to see us talk about or show or teach or share behind the scenes, good, bad, whatever, that's the whole idea behind YouTube Backstage. So please let us know. We would love to see it. And thank you so much for everybody who attended live. And if you watched on replay, please, I know the replay
Thanks,
comments
Hummingbird.
and the live comments are separate. So, but please leave a comment if you've watched on replay as well. All right. See everybody soon, and take care. Bye.
Bye.